So this will probably be one of the most important, should I say important, because I know a bit about language, message that I've made on this channel. It involves all of us here on these islands, and it involves everyone around the world. They could use, but they could adapt to what I'm saying here to solve some of their own problems. First of all, to call out the again, running out of words here. The coops, the mind control, the domestic terrorism, the all of the criminal things that are happening from people that are nothing but mercenaries and their criminal elite that are directing them to do the things that they're doing. So first of all, I will address what is happening right now in Christchurch here, and the fact that it's a coup. It's an absolute coup. Yeah, and if they've done these sort of things worldwide, everywhere, is what they do to do damage control so that the criminality can continue. Yeah. So it seems that recently people have been concerned with mind control and psychology, which is fair enough and it's great. They've lost faith in institutions like, organization institutions like the police and so on and so forth, the Ministry of Health. But these things are not being addressed, and they are being taken away from the core of the core of the issue. Is being taken away and pushed to religious cults. So instead of doing what would be correct, to use examples of how mind control cults operate, and then use that as a model to assess anything and everything on this planet and call it out for what it is. They are purely just focusing on that, and therefore, in hope that people are with lack of ability to see it for what it is. And I am wearing full black here because, just like judges or priests, I am addressing the non-dugeared. Yeah, so there isn't any people. The situation wouldn't be what it is if it wouldn't be for the masses of people, and especially the ones in charge and so on and so forth. If they wouldn't be non-dugeared, if they wouldn't be vessels lost at sea and with lack of capacity and so on and so forth, if they were, with life and fit for purpose. So all of this is under penalty of perjury, with oath in hand, speaking nothing but the truth. And if not, there might be some presumptions and assumptions. I don't have any intelligence agency of my own to do more research, but these things are pretty clear. So they carry this thing. First thing that I've addressed here is just to get things started, but we will be getting into the core of the issues. So again, they are mentioning on the news about some far away, or insignificant, affecting like, I don't know, maybe 20,000 people, probably less, groups and mind control cults. When we have the likes of the New Zealand police being a mind control cult, everyone within the Ministry of Health that are a mind control cult, they're affected by it. And then everyone else that is subject to them, yeah, by forced subjects to them. And within the same news show, because they even call it that. It's not a current affair, it's a show. That's what they call it. So within the same one, they've had a couple of absolute idiots trying to say that we are idiots, to make us believe the absolute nonsense that they say about pandemics and lockdowns. When here in New Zealand, we live on islands, yeah? So basically, lying about the pandemics, that they are such a threat and so on and so forth, where the only threat that there is if you've got idiots that focus on local mind control, yeah, so that they are lost within their mind control cults to control others and to perpetuate the local mind control cult. Yeah, they're lost into that to the point that uh, they fail to seek the threats and the biohazard threats and shut down the borders. Because if they had that in place, as other countries have, because they can't afford it, because they're riddled with there isn't any natural borders how we've got here. If you stop the planes from coming in, and if you tell the boats to fuck off, excuse my language, then there isn't any threat. Yeah, there can't be any new. Yeah, maybe someone drops a biohazard bomb, but other than that, there isn't even that. If the defense force does their job, they shoot that down, or they spend the money instead of spending money on mind control and all manner of wankery. Spend the money on how Israel's got the air defense and all of this. So New Zealand should not have the need for a lockdown, full stop, ever, if these people do their jobs. That's just a plain and simple fact. Is it so hard for them to shut the borders down and not let people that are diseased to come in? That's what they get paid to do, to sit there and have both people and AI scanning everything. As soon as they hear anything from overseas that there's a potential threat, a biohazard threat, boom, that's it, boom, shut down the border. Shut down the border. If it really is such a threat, if it really is such a priority. And I'll get into why they don't do stuff like this, other than being lost into preoccupied, obsessed as malignant narcissists to get narcissistic supply of and forcing people into codependency. Yeah. When you do that, then you can't, then you can't focus on doing your job properly. You don't even prioritize things. When your main priority is to be obsessed with someone else and what they're doing in their private capacity that has nothing to do with, threats and public safety or anything like that. So there's lack of correlating their mind control torture and everything that comes with it, with the attempt to biochemically self-control themselves, their victims. Yeah. So they've done so much attempted mind control, failed mind control, failed behavior, so-called cognitive behavioral therapy and all this sort of. They've tried to change people in ways that, one, they don't need to change in such a way, and two, it hasn't worked, and three is made things way worse. And as a result, people go and start doing the likes of methamphetamine, I don't know, all sorts of stuff. Some people hide our weed and lock themselves inside their homes or whatever it is. But it's very difficult to have some sort of self-control when externally they are being bombarded with this stuff. And it seems that this sort of stuff has been happening before the pandemic and the lockdowns and all of this. But ever since the pandemic and the lockdowns, that was a great amount of narcissistic supply to malignant narcissists and cluster B personality disordered people. And further than that, it has virally expanded. So the number of malignant narcissists and cluster B personality disordered individuals in the positions where they can go and force and grab narcissistic supply out of people and force them into codependency has increased. And as a result of that, people have a choice whether to be codependents to these malignant narcissists or to go be codependents to drugs and things of this nature. And a lot of times is a mix of both. Yeah, but people try and do anything to gain some self-control within their lives, even though it's not natural and correct self-control. That's what happens when because all of this is all artificial. So the ones that are with the most amount of ill mental health seems that gets unchecked, that flies under the radar. Yeah, because if you have people that lash out, that it's obvious ill behavior that's easily slap the label on, but it doesn't change the fact that what we've learned from professional psychologists and so on and so forth, the latest psychological degrees that you can get and psychiatric degrees and so on and so forth, in a 3-year academia learning program, they only touch on the likes of malignant narcissism and things of this, which is like the mind control leaders and people that are affecting the codependents, affecting the victims. 1 hour around there out of 3 years. So they're nowhere near qualified to remedy the situation or to even diagnose people, not to mention that a proper diagnosis, from what we've learned, takes like something like 15 days over multiple sessions, so on and so forth. So out here in the jungle as it be, you could very easily label someone insane because they're acting out, because they've been victimized, even though if you change the environment or so on and so forth, they might actually be sane. They might even have like very mild post-traumatic stress response. It doesn't have to be a disorder, right? If the environment changes and the factual threat is not there anymore, and they improve their behavior, and then you could have the likes of these other people that are slapping the labels on and so on and so forth, that they could actually be beyond repair. The likes of Professor Sam Vaknin, that he is one of the top authorities on the planet when it comes to malignant narcissism. He admits it himself that he's changed his behavior for the better, but he can't stop being a malignant narcissist. He admits it almost in every one of his videos, because he's like turned nice and he's well aware of it, and he tells people like, yeah, watch out because I'm a malignant narcissist. It doesn't change the fact that probably himself, because he's nice, is not going to go and seek out a position where he can torture others, as it be, malpractice and stuff like that, because he knows that he's not up to, he's not fit for purpose for roles like that. So the most ill are in government employees that are not needed. And when I say they are the most ill, also the biggest number, the biggest number. So the most amount of malignant narcissists and or cluster B personality traded, because I can't say disorder, I'm not qualified. I haven't, even if I was, I wouldn't be able to slap a label on them from seeing the traits that they have, but they certainly outnumber the malignant narcissistic traded individuals, definitely way outnumber, probably 10 times than your average people that are being administered by these people. So, and torturing people and doing fraud to keep their jobs as a result of ill mental health spreading, as well as drug use spreading, while family startups, while people getting together to start families is dying off, industry is dying off, economy, all of this. And it's all because at the, not at the top. Because that's the thing. That's how far this shit has gone. Where the servants, the ones that are meant to be, level below, helping you out, are now the kings and queens, that cannot be stopped. And some of the people to be held countable, 1, 2, 3, yeah? One would be the biggest so-called authority, which no one around these ways never even gets mentioned. Never even gets mentioned. They always point the finger at the likes of Luxton before Jacinda, this, that, and the other. How about Cindy Cairo, the governor? How about Cindy Cairo, the governor? Because with the wave of a wand, she would be able to change things, because she's the one that actually has the authority. Two would be the Ministry of Defense, because they're being quiet about all of this and allowing that. And within that, would be the National Assessments Bureau, the Government Communications Security Bureau, and the NZIS, the New Zealand Security Intelligence. 3 would be the Ministry of Health, because they enable all of this as well. And 4 would be the Ministry of Justice. And as long as, excuse me, it's someone that's obviously a bit histrionic rated. As long as the UK and US, specifically the UK, right? Like the US is more of a trend that people follow, I reckon, almost more than legislation and policy that gets sent our way from the UK. As long as we are tied to UK, this will not stop. We will continue being slaves. And the way to go about this, the solution to go about this, is not to do what America did in 1776. That sort of stuff is no longer needed. It's no longer needed. Even if you wanted to, even if you were a psychopath and you wanted to have some sort of war between New Zealand and UK, you can't really do that, right? But the solution would be through bureaucracy, through document creation, and so on and so forth, to separate that and any other worldwide organization that is pushing for mind control, and it's time to put the the loop, that the zoom in, like this, on them, on every organization that is international that deals with a country, needs to be put under scrutiny and under zoom to see if there is a hidden agenda for mind control. That's what it is. The pandemic stuff, yeah, very weird virus, but it doesn't change the fact. That mind control and mental torture, manipulation, and all of this sort of stuff was way above people's the health of people's immune systems, and so on and so forth. And I want more and more answers on how accurate the COVID deaths were recorded. Yeah, because as far as we're concerned, we've seen a lot of the likes of someone would crash a car and die in a car accident. And then if they would also test positive for COVID, they would mark that as a COVID death. And how many others? You'd have people in their 70s, 80s on the brink of death, dying from a heart attack or whatever have you. And especially because of lack of ability to get their normal treatments, lack of ability to live their lives normally because of the shock that they were exposed to, that would have been correlated, what would have been some of the biggest impacts that drove their deaths. Because they would test positive for COVID as well, I am certainly not convinced that that was their cause of death. But all of this got marked down, and this is how they were able to perpetuate the torture and the massive increase in malignant narcissism. And that was the true, and is continuing to be the true, pandemic of ill mental health, and the virility, the viral spread of malignant narcissistic behavior, personality disorders, and so on and so forth. And that's where it's at. All the best.